Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Kara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Kara Delane.
Welcome everyone to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and I'm excited for tonight, Ted.
Kara, I think we're going to learn a whole lot about AI and about our industry. We're very grateful to have our friends from Stella Automotive AI. They are Jennifer Sanford and Eric Painter, who are with us for the half hour. And I see howdy. We're already in the chat. So, Kara, that must mean that we're going to be we're live tonight.
We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So make sure that you're sharing the video tonight and commenting down below for our guest.
Aman, thank you so much for starting us off. And we'll be live for the next 30 minutes. And we have a number of questions we're going to find out today about AI and how it's impacting the automotive industry. And before we get started, though, Cindy, good evening as well. Kara, I want to thank our exclusive sponsor for the After Dark show, which is BG Products, Partners Beyond Products. And so grateful to them for all they do in our industry. BG Products, thank you. Now in their second 50 years of business in the industry. So great stuff. So we've got a big event coming up in May. Eric, I know you've been rocking out to the 80s as well and the promos leading up to it. Kara, what are the dates on that that's coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up quick, Ted. May 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th is our Back to the 80s event. It's going to be 4 days of a virtual Fixed Ops Roundtable with tons of 80s fun. So don't miss it. You can get your complimentary tickets now at fixedopsroundtable.com.
Yep, I see our good friend Ed Roberts there. And Jennifer, Ed's been on a number of panels with Jocelyn and with Stella Automotive AI.
Ed is a great friend of the business, and he's somebody we all need to admire. What he's accomplished with his store is pretty impressive. And now look at what he's doing in the Florida region, growing that whole conference. And it's going to be a great event that he's going to be hosting.
Yeah, excited about that. And Eric, I know Stella's got you busy. You were on the move. You're on the road tonight.
Yeah, I'm in great Chicago, going out and visiting some of our great dealer partners and meeting some new dealers this week. I can't wait. But yeah, every week, new city, new dealers, and can't wait to share Stella with everybody.
All right. I see Robert Miggs in the chat. Stephen Ryder, good evening, out of Chicago. Steve, I'm looking forward to learning a little bit about AI tonight. And you know what, Eric, it is impacting our lives in other businesses, other things that we buy, that we kind of take for granted, but here we are, and it's in the automotive industry now.
Yeah, it's starting to, AI is the buzzword, right? Everyone's seeing it, and what people are really starting to notice is it's really all around us, and it's been around us for a while, but we really never realized it. And people are just getting used to using AI. They're excited about AI, and it's great for us because then we can bring conversational AI to automotive, which gets us really excited.
And Eric, you've got a automotive dealership background, right? Retail.
Yeah. I started selling cars and did everything in the front end of the house. I ran a 22-person BDC. So all my BDC people out there, I can feel the pain that you go through all the time, all of our managers, and looking at your financial statements and looking at expenses. And I get it. I really, really do. So I look at things a lot through my dealer eyes when I look at things as far as products, and it's exciting that Stella's here to fix a problem. And that's really what I love about being part of the Stella team.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jennifer, I've come across so many people in the industry who know you and have worked with you. How did you come about Stella Automotive AI? Just if you don't mind, give us, if there's a little backstory there.
Oh, Stella was introduced to me in the fall of 2019. Or actually 2021. I had left the industry in 2019. And somebody said, you need to look at this company. It's about the telephone. And I thought, okay, that doesn't sound very exciting. And they said, call this number. And I did. I'm like, now stop, full stop. This is exciting. And I got a chance to talk to Jocelyn, and she introduced me to some people in the organization. Jocelyn Bodette is our CEO, founder, the lifeblood of the whole reason why we're here today with, with this amazing technology. And it became a no-brainer. It was just an absolute no-brainer to jump in and get started. And started in November, got a website up in January, and we were off to the races, launched in March.
Yeah.
It has been a wild ride, and bringing Eric on has been transformational to our sales operation. He's done great things. The technology is unlike any other AI you've seen. I think that's the biggest challenge for us in the industry is people don't know what to expect from AI. There's no standard out there. Like there's a standard for websites, there's a standard for CRMs. Well, if there's a standard out there, it's Stella, because it is the most advanced AI in automotive, and it can do things that really most of the things you've experienced with AI can't do. So it's pretty cool. It's exciting to be here.
I think the best part is it talks to you. Most AI doesn't talk. So.
Yeah, right.
Right.
All right. So we're looking forward to learning about that. We're also going to test a little bit of your 80s trivia tonight, everybody, and with the audience helping as well. So I see Roger in the audience. Kara, you know, it seems because now you've been in retail now going on 4 years, okay, or have been in retail, okay, until just recently. People still use the phone, I guess, right?
Man, I know at the dealerships that I worked at, you know, we were in such a small town of about 4,000 people that was our livelihood. You know, we had to get people in on ads, social media, things like that. So most of our car deals were handled over the phone. And then, of course, in service and fixed ops, everybody calls before they just drive up to the dealership. So I don't think there's ever going to be a day that we don't see a need for a phone in the dealerships.
Wow. Well, I know you've done some homework, and I think you have a couple questions ready tonight. And if everybody's ready, let's get into it.
Roll them.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I just want to know, first and foremost, before we have this conversation, where does the name Stella come from? Who's Stella? Because it's not either of you. So who's Stella?
I'll take that one. I'll take that question. So this is actually pretty cool. Jocelyn Bodette, our founder, had been working in technology and AI and machine learning for pretty substantially long time. And she knew a group of engineers that were in Zurich. They were Zurich based. And they were really talented in conversational AI. They were the people who built the very first in-vehicle voice technology.
Yep.
And so conversational AI it's been around for a while. So these guys are the foundation of the automotive voice. So they built this great thing, and they're trying to figure out, well, what should we call this? And some of these scientists were involved in other language practices and developments and research. And it turns out in Zurich, Switzerland, there's a language, the original language, some of the first names out of that language that were female, one of them was Stella. Okay. So they were just going through the names, and they found Stella, and they thought, oh, that's the one. So it really harkens back to the source of our brilliant team. And they owned this. They own this name. So it is really all about this bright shining star, and our team designed this. It's very cool.
Wow. That's impressive. I would have never thought that. You know, I was thinking this whole time, I'm like, who's Stella? But that makes a lot more sense now. So thank you for that. So we know who Stella is now. And I know you guys are working with so many dealerships everywhere. What do you think the biggest benefit is to a dealership that has Stella?
There's so many benefits because it solves a lot of problems. I mean, I like I mentioned, I travel every week and visit dealers, and everyone has different issues. We have different cultures inside of our dealer groups, right? But I think one of the things that really shocked me is the amount of time that's given back to the employees in the dealership by deploying an AI to help them. Because it's truly, Stella's like hiring someone at your dealership. But we saw it in some of our best dealerships. They were getting back over 20 hours of actual time. And what that means is Stella was taking 20 plus hours of phone calls, booking appointments, routing customers, answering questions, getting them to roadside assistance if they needed it. So then it's crazy. And as she handles more and more, it's just going to give more and more time back. So one thing you can never get out of most products is time back, right? So we're prideful on that it's like, let Stella do things for you, and you guys can use that time, generate revenue, take care of your customers. I mean, that's what's really cool about Stella.
So I see Linda Hansen just made a comment, 80% of customers still call to make service appointments. And that's a pretty solid stat.
Is it?
I've seen it as low as 65%, but regardless, there's a huge percentage of people who call. They don't go online to make service appointments. So think about that number. And if 30% of those calls, which is also a common stat, 30% of the service calls go unanswered,
Right.
that's a huge chunk of your business that's not being handled. So I think we focus on the fact that we can book and schedule appointments, but we can also do really important things like answer FAQs, answer questions like, what are your store hours today? Where are you located? Basic things that you don't want to interrupt your time of an important service advisor to handle, right? Or, hey, can I speak to somebody in sales? So it's some of those very easy questions that we could just peel right off the top and allow the really hard questions to come through. So when the phone is ringing, it's somebody who really needs to talk to a human. So the time savings is amazing. We've had a dealership group in Florida who said, it's kind of strange, but the phone's not ringing. And that's a good thing because they're not interrupted on a constant basis. So when a phone does ring, they know it's something they need to handle.
Yeah.
Another group out of Ohio, Jermaine, said, I know when Stella's on because the in-dealership customer experience is better. They're focused on the in-dealership customer as opposed to answering the phone and being interrupted.
Jennifer, I love the commercial that you ran at the last event because you did a little, like a timer, like a clicker, all right? And in the same time that Stella answered the phone, made the appointment, confirmed the appointment, booked it, did everything with the customer, the dealership phone was still ringing. They hadn't even answered the phone yet in that amount of time. So I know that you have some stats on that, but you handle that call very quickly.
Thank you for bringing that up. The industry standard for hold time when calling a dealership is 3 minutes.
Wow.
3
Hold
minutes.
time.
Hold time. So the call that we demonstrated, which was a real call, it was actually short for average, but it demonstrates how long it takes to speak to a person. Then once you get to a person, they have to get into the scheduler. They have to actually do all the hard work and ask you, what's your name? What's your phone number? What car? When you call Stella, she knows your number. She knows what car you've got. All she needs to know is what problem do you need to solve and when do you want to come in, because she's got it all lickety split. So you can honestly book an appointment in under a minute if you really know what you want to do. And who doesn't like to speed things up over time? Has any one of you ever used a self-checkout at the grocery store?
Sure.
Absolutely.
And why do you do that?
So I can get out quick.
Right? Exactly. Stella does the same thing. And so when you have a huge cartload of things and you go through the person to get help with, aren't you glad that the line isn't super long, that there are other people going the quick route? So
Now, do you ever see it at any of these dealerships? Do you ever get somebody on the phone that's like, oh, this is a robot, I want to talk to a real human? Do you ever see that?
Absolutely.
Or maybe resistance from the employees in the dealership going, I don't know, this is technology on both ends?
Not really dealership employees, because they actually like it because it improves their life, right? They're not answering phone calls. What time are you open to? They can actually talk to customer about complex things. But customers, yeah. And that's the beauty of Stella. If you've ever been in one of those press 1, press 2, press 3, and then all of a sudden it says press 1, press 2, press 3. With Stella, you say service advisor or agent, and she goes, great. Can I ask why you'd like to be transferred? And then you just tell her why you're being transferred and you're gone. You're to wherever you need to go. So if you need to talk to someone about a new car, you say sales and new car sales or whatever you say, and she'll go right to sales. Or you need to order new wiper blades, she's going to go over to the parts department, right? So the one thing that's cool about AI like this is she understands the intent of what you're saying. It's not off some keyword and then it goes and tries to match off a server. This is where the customer goes. If Stella's smart enough, because she learns on every call, right? Well, this person needs this, and let me get them to where they need to go. And that's what's cool about Stella and understanding the intent. And that's the magic behind AI, right?
Wow.
I know there's more that's coming, that's in the pipeline. And, we've talked about a little bit, but, down the road, Jennifer, can you see, like, as an example, when a customer calls for an appointment and Stella picks up the call, will it be able to tell if that vehicle, let's say, is due for a recall or something like that?
Yeah, that's one of the things we've been asked to look into. So we are working on all of that advanced technology. Right now, if you called, they'd ask you which car you want to get serviced, because it already knows what you have in your garage. It can access that information very quickly. And to answer Aman's question, of the 80% of clients who book apps via phone, how many would be happy speaking to an automated attendant? I don't know what that percentage is off the top of my head, but I can point you to a lot of very happy customers. If you go to our YouTube channel, click in and you can hear some of the responses we get. People are just happy it was fast.
Yeah,
Happy.
I'm on. It's one of the most important questions is, okay, it's easy, it works, but do people like it, right? So if we've gone when you talk to Stella, she asks, hey, would you like to rate me on a 1 to 10 at the end of each call? It's not some long survey, it's just 1 to 10. And Aman, to answer your question, over the thousands and thousands and thousands of dealer calls that we're handling all around the country, she's averaging an 8 out of 10 right now. So people like her. I mean, the thing about AI is if it's fast, frictionless, and easy, people will use it and they love it. If it's clunky, takes a long time, you're kind of like, okay, let me get out of here and let me talk to a person. You're not helping me. And that's what we're finding. So over thousands of calls, we're an 8 out of 10, and we're trying to improve that number, obviously, because we want every customer to be happy. But some people are just never going to be happy no matter what you do. And typically, when they don't give a good high score, it's because the service appointment they want at that specific time is taken by somebody else.
Kara, I see our friend Sean and Tiffany Kingry in the chat. I know Sean was resistant to AI, but I think he's warmed up to that now. So
He's coming around finally. So as far as the dealership personnel, we know that the customers are liking this. Is there anything for the staff in these dealerships, the advisors, the managers, to be able to look at a dashboard that has reports, all of the call recordings, things like that? And if so, what does it entail?
Yeah, absolutely. So reporting is really important. We look at reporting as we have a dashboard, but it's more of a management tool than it is a fancy graphs and make things look pretty. We want an actionable dashboard. So if you want to know how many people booked an appointment and what opcode and everything else, you can literally click right at that number, those 900 appointments that Stella booked this month. And it'll tell you what opcode, who it was, is it a new customer or a previous customer, and all that information. If you want to know why people transferred into your dealership, that's really important. You want to know, okay, they transferred, but why? And that's also just literally just click right on that number. You had 800 transfers this month, and you'll be able to see by customer. In the future, we're going to condense that down and give you these many people transferred for this and whatnot. So there's new versions of reporting that's coming out that'll include those transcriptions and call recordings that you're talking about in the future here. So we want reporting because it's such a lifeblood of the dealership to be able to know what's happening on your phone, but we want to give you reporting that's actionable, that you can make management decisions, things around, do we need to have more staff at a certain time? Well, we'll be able to tell you, yeah, and there's a reason why, not just you got a large amount of calls early in the morning, but this is what the customers were doing. And that's more important than knowing how many calls you got, right?
I love it. Linda's got a question there in the chat. Will Stella eventually be able to look at previously declined suggested services? I guess at some point that's coming too, right?
Yeah, that's a feature that every dealer is like, okay, we love Stella. She's booking. She's doing great. They want more revenue. And I don't blame them. I would too. So yeah, those features like turn down services or recommended services is stuff that we're all looking into building into Stella's service receptionist products. So
but Eric, I think it also opens the door for the BDC now to be able to do that because they're freed up from the mundane phone calls so they can make those outbound proactive calls, right?
Yeah, that's the point. So let Stella, if you just put Stella in and she would just answer the phone and route it, and she's going to take about 40% of all those bookings and just knock them right out of the park. So take 40% right at the top, right? Then if a customer has a question it could be anything. Like I see Cindy asking about F&I, but they could just say, I need to speak to someone, and that would go to a live person who can actually answer a more complicated question. And that's her job, is let your BDC people or advisors upsell or talk to people about how was your, a CSI call, right? Or turn down service. Let them generate revenue, because that's what they are, is business development, not glorified appointment takers. Mm-hmm. And people don't like to just take a phone call and say, yeah, we're open at 8:00 and you want an oil change. They want to do complex tasks.
Right. And, I was talking to a BDC leader today, and her objective was to have all of her reps speaking on the phone for 45 minutes an hour. She really hated it when they were just answering phone calls. She wanted them to be making the outbound calls. Mm-hmm. So if for 30 minutes of that 45 are spent answering oil change calls, think about the opportunity that Stella gives those reps.
Yep. And I see a comment from Coralie. I think she's right about that. We're not looking to replace or eliminate the service advisor, but really to be able to free them up to do the things that they're more productive, the better things that, generate revenue, right?
It's almost it's almost like Stella. They hire Stella and she's the assistant to everyone else. Let her take care of the easy stuff and empower your people to take care of the customer.
Wow. I love it. Mozam, great. Yeah. Good feedback there as well. Kara, how are they doing with your questions?
I mean, I think they're knocking them out of the park. I think the one that I wanted to know the most was who's Stella. So we knocked it out right off the bat. So yeah, we've had a lot of viewers asking questions tonight too. So I have a feeling that you guys are going to get some DMs and maybe some phone calls after this show is over tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see a lot of the questions that are like George's question, sentiment. Yes, we know sentiment analysis. So we can expand more on that. So,
wow. And not only sentiment analysis, but let's talk about opcodes for a second.
Yes.
Now, I don't think Eric, you touched on this. If you did, I apologize. But one of the things you can learn about is what opcodes are being, what types of services are being requested. And so you can see what's the most common thing coming in. The Stella can match up to 250 opcodes based on the words spoken to her. That's more than a human can do.
Wow. Yeah. And you can probably, I'm just thinking out loud, so you'll know the most common opcodes, right, that customers are referring to, and you'll probably be able to identify some outdated opcodes that the dealership may not necessarily. I think, Jennifer, you and I have talked about that before as well.
Well, we have an amazing customer success team that when we go through an onboarding process, we actually find in these DMSs and online schedulers holes that can help fix their process. So there's actual waves and wakes that come behind an install in Stella where you're like, oh, we can optimize here. Let's optimize that. And next thing you know, you're running off smoother. So it's pretty cool.
That's the nice thing about having folks like Eric on the team that have worked in the dealership. They know the technology. They know how the stuff is supposed to work. So by integrating with Stella, we know what good is supposed to look like. And that team can make it come alive, make it stronger.
I have a question. Do you find, and I think I know the answer, but just want to get your feedback on this, most calls that Stella's picking up, are those on the service side as opposed to the sales side? What would the ratio of that be, ballpark?
Well, that's where we started. So it's still a pretty high ratio of service. I mean, the Jocelyn, when she came into the industry, was literally being approached by a manufacturer, and they discussed doing a variety of part solutions. And they said, actually, can you help our dealers with the phones? That's the most critical problem in the industry. So this is where they started, and it's just baby steps right now. There's so much she has already accomplished in the year that we've been live, and it's just going to grow from there. The technology is just at its infancy.
Tony Owens is with the Germain organization out of Ohio as well. We had Sean Niffen on the show back. Eric, as you go around the country, what are what are dealers and retail managers asking you for? What is the help that they need? What is the common denominator, when it comes to this?
I think it's really that they want to take care of their customer. I mean, we dealers are great people. We take care of our communities, right? We want to take care of our customers, and they want to provide a good experience, but they also want to provide a better experience for their own employees. So if they can find a tool that does both, then they're on the right track. So there's a lot of reasons that people partner with Stella. Everyone has different problems, but I think it really comes down to is if you can improve the customer experience, meet your customers where they're at, and improve your employees' everyday work experience, you're on the right track. Because that's really what dealers do is we try to make things better for the people around us.
Yeah.
And to build on that, the employee experience, I don't know if anybody was on David Long's Clubhouse today.
Mm-hmm.
One of the topics they were discussing was retention and the sheer cost of losing people in your employees. It's staggering how much it costs. So if you can retain somebody and grow their skill set, how much more powerful is that, one, for your staff, but two, for your bottom line?
Yeah, that's true. Ted, I get all day long is we're having a hard time finding people. And once they find a good one, we know what happens in the dealer world. They're stolen right away and put in another department. So they really are. Just like every industry of hiring right now is finding good quality people to take care of their customer. It's not easy, and it's a big challenge, and it's expensive. It's very, very expensive to hire somebody and then train them and then invest in the technology for them to use and then 401ks and all those stuff. Like we love to say, hey, Stella doesn't get COVID. She doesn't, get sick. She doesn't take breaks. She's there for you.
No smoke breaks.
Yeah,
There the whole time. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, we're going to have a segment on the Roundtable in May, right? With Stella Automotive. Who's coming up on that?
Oh, that's going to feature Ben Okuka, our head of product, and Ron Smith, who handles our a huge chunk of our sales operation as well. He and Eric are brothers in crime, and so you'll have a great time talking to the two of them. They've got more knowledge between the two of them.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to that. And Kara, I'm looking forward to some 80s trivia. If you got some stuff ready for our guests, our audience, including Tracy here in the chat.
Yeah, hopefully you guys know some stuff about the 80s tonight, because I have 3 trivia questions that I'm going to ask our guest. But if you're watching us live tonight, feel free to comment down below so that maybe you can help them out if they need a lifeline. So you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here is the first one. Which company introduced the first mobile phone to the United States in 1983? Samsung, Motorola, or Nokia?
I think it's Nokia.
Motorola.
Oh, he's firm with Motorola. Ted, do you know?
It's either B or C.
I thought it was
and I
C.
don't want to get on Jennifer's bad side, so I'm gonna hedge my bets there.
It is Motorola.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you know that, Eric Painter?
I remember using those until I got my huge little BlackBerry that I
Blackberries.
That's awesome.
Hey, BlackBerry was the thing, right? So
yeah, they had the little walkie-talkie on it and everything. They were great.
All right, let's see if you get all 3 of them here. Here's the second one. Who released the song Careless Whisper in 1984?
Ooh.
George Michael, Elton John, or Bryan Adams?
George Michael.
I'm going to refer to the audience. I need help on this one.
We need a lifeline, right?
Elton John?
Let's see what
I don't think it's Elton John. I don't think that.
I think it's
Tony says B.
We're getting mixed emotions in the comments.
Put up the answers again, Carol. Let's see that again. I want to just.
I think it's George Michael.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of votes for George Michael. I think we might be George Michael.
It is George Michael. All right, the last one here. What was the name of Bo and Luke Dukes Hazard automobile.
Come on.
That's easy. That's a gimme. That's General Lee.
Y'all knew that one right off the bat. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
I left the easy one for last.
Thank you. That was
I
fun.
haven't done anything like that last one, so I was like, oh, this one's probably going to be easy, but I'll do it.
You've been thinking of some creative ones there, Caroline. So,
Yeah.
No, trying to come up with something different.
all right. Are we gonna go back to the music ones ever, or we don't know?
If Facebook would be nice to me and not, get mad at the copyright, maybe call the Facebook gods if anybody knows them, so we can play Name That Tune Again.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be a
so
lot
much
of fun. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff in the comments. Well, Eric and Jennifer, thank you so much for being here tonight, and we learned a lot.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
conversation tonight. Thank you so much.
Really appreciated it. Really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Ted, for everything you're doing for not only for us and for Stella, but for the industry. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
learning
Thank you very much.
every time.
Well, we'll have some fun, and this will be a fun theme with the 80s coming up in May, and it's May 15th through the 18th. And Stephen Ryder, technically it was Wham, but we will see at the 80s, May 15th through the 18th. Stella Automotive AI will be speaking, and we have an amazing lineup for that event. You do not want to miss it. A lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of 80s gear and trivia coming up. So looks like a fun time ahead, Kara.
I'm excited. All 80s theme. It's been fun, and I know it's only going to get better.
Yep, super.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks everyone for watching us tonight. Jennifer and Eric, thank you so much for teaching us everything. Stella Automotive AI, and thanks for watching us tonight. And we will see everyone on Wednesday at 7 p.m.